this is something that nobody would be talking about at all if this was John Smith. And really, this is not something the American people care about. This is old news. This is somebody trying to make a name for themselves, but they don't have a strong case to stand on. And like you said, there's bipartisan agreement. This is a very weak case. This is a George Soros-funded district attorney who has taken a state misdemeanor, which the statutes of limitation have already expired on. He's somehow elevated it to a federal felony, which also the statute of limitations has expired on. And he doesn't have the jurisdiction or the legal authority to do either. But he's going to go ahead, maybe, and do this anyway. And this is when there's incredible crime on the rise in New York City and throughout the state. This is not what you New Yorkers want. Nothing of this is going to make life better for the citizens and residents of New York.
That's interesting what you said about the statute of limitations. So basically this is so long ago that the right to prosecute has expired. So how does this fool of a man, Bragg, get around all of this?
Well, you know, we've seen the Democrats get away with a lot of things that they're not allowed or not supposed to do. So this is just about making a name for himself. He and the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, both of them made basically campaign pledges saying, we're going to go after Donald Trump. They did it under the guise of no one's above the law. But we know that this is a partisan witch hunt. People see right through it, and it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, they haven't made too many runs, have they? They had a go about January 6th, and that came to nothing. They had a go about his tax returns. That came to nothing. They invaded his home in Mar-a-Lago. That came to nothing. This seems, from the distance where I am, to be an own goal for the left. I mean, a political stitch-up. You make the point, but for the benefit of our viewers, this is a New York district attorney, this bloke called Alvin Bragg. He is the first person of colour. He was elected. In America, these people, they are the equivalent of our Crown prosecutors, and they're elected. But this bloke was always an anti-Trump candidate. And Becky, isn't this the bloke who downgraded 52% of felony cases to misdemeanour? So obviously knows little about law and evidence in the Manhattan district courts. This bloke's got a record really of being hopelessly of the left.
He does. And unfortunately, this is what we see throughout the state of New York, and unfortunately in a lot of blue states all across America, including California, my beautiful home state that the Democrats have completely ruined. And we know this is partisan, and they're putting they're tipping the scales of justice against conservatives, against people like Donald Trump, and against any of his supporters. We see criminals going loose on the streets. We see rising crime. We see no bail, cash bail has been eliminated, and these perpetual criminals are going right back to the streets. And so this is not what the citizens want, but this is what these Soros-backed, Soros-funded prosecutors, and district attorneys and attorneys general are pushing.